It's proper loud. It's better. Right, yeah, here we are. Let's do Advent of Cyber 2022.
Herder of Cat says,
I wanted to listen to the song till the end.
Oh, it's still playing.
Hey, hey everyone.
How's it going, Just a Guy? So, if you didn't do last year's one, I'll give a brief synopsis of what this is. Essentially, you get a task, like
I'm excelling.
So, there's 24 days of challenges, and essentially you complete each challenge as they come out, one every day. So we've had 2 days of it so far, and if you do them on the day every day, you get entered into the prize draw for this raffle. Loads of awesome prizes that you can get from it. And yeah, so here we go, daily vouchers. You get subscription vouchers or a £15 swag voucher. Prizes are announced every Monday on Twitter and they'll be contacted via email.
Are you sure there aren't 25 days? I missed
No.
yesterday and today.
Yeah, there's definitely 24. They don't do one on Christmas Day. It stops on that Christmas Eve, because by then you'd have saved Christmas, and we'll get to that in a sec. So if you do them all, you get the certificate that says well done, you've done it
Fake
all.
advertising.
There'll be videos for every challenge, sort of walking you through the process, but you don't need to watch those, you can just watch me do it. But yeah, topics cover everything from red teaming, secure coding, web vulnerabilities, blue teaming, and IoT hacking. So we can tick that to say that we've read it. Then task 2. Good, music's still going. Right. Task 2 just gives you a bit of a tutorial in the room. So if you've never done Try Hack Me before, they just explain that each task is released around about 12 o'clock every day. 8 PM GMT. I'm not sure I buy that. The one yesterday came out about 2 o'clock. So, oi oi Knob Bandit, how you doing, Jazzy? But yeah, they're varying difficulty, so we'll see.
Jazzy
The very
says,
first one.
Oi oi no bandit.
Very first one is super easy, but today's one was obviously a lot more harder. So we highly recommend you complete the tutorial room, and that one just literally covers how you get connected
Pumpkin
to some of the
spice, Lucky
VPNs.
says, Jazzy.
Tea. So yeah, if you've never connected to the VPN before, you follow this process and it will show you how to connect. I've just given you the flag, so there's that as well. You can do some target machines, so just do like any Try Hack Me box, and again it will give you some example. There is actually an open VPN room as well, so you can do that. If you don't have an attack box, so I'm using a Kali VM, but if you don't have that, you can use the attack box, which is Try Hack Me's own, basically like their own Kali VM that's only usable for 1 hour unless you're subscribed. In one of the tasks, the event will require you to deploy a Kali Linux VM instead of the attack box. Okay, so that's fine. So one of those days you will need your own box anyway, but it's kind of good because it forces you to make one, or just download the open VPN box. Some tasks will ask you to deploy a VM without spawning the attack box. Okay. Some tasks will feature sites to interact with, in this case launching the website and using an appropriate button. Breaking any of the following rules will result in elimination from the event, so the .tryhackme.com and the OpenVPN services are off limits, no probing, scanning or exploiting. Users are only authorized to hack the machines deployed in the rooms that they have access to. Users are not to target or attack other users. Users should only enter the event once using one account. Answers to questions are not to be shared unless shown on videos or streams, which is good because we'll be streaming it. Great. Socials, so if you want to follow Try Hack Me on any of their social medias, you can do that. So we've already done it, so we can tick all of these. And
Herder
then
of Cat says,
So restrictive.
So there's a note on subscribing. So if you do subscribe, this is like kind of the whole point. They want you to buy into their sub model. But it's £8 a month. If you're a student, you get 20% off. You can use AOC 2022 at checkout and you'll get 20% off as well. This is only valid until the 7th, so you've only got 5 days to get a cheap discount. If you want to gift TryHackMe VIP subscriptions, you can purchase vouchers, although the vouchers don't have any means of getting... you can't apply that AOC code to the vouchers, which is a bit of a shitter, but whatever. Christmas swag, so if you want to get a Bandit the Yeti t-shirt, apparently you can buy them. With TryHackMe's management dashboard for business, you can do the following. Get full access to all the TryHackMe rooms and features, including Advent of Cyber. Leverage competitive learning and collectively engage your team in Advent of Cyber tasks, measuring their progress. Create customized learning to deep dive into further training topics based on the Advent of Cyber and beyond. We'll be running a limited set of enterprise training webinars for TryHackMe business clients to deeply explore some of the topics that we're running about throughout the Advent of Cyber. If you're interested in exploring the plethora of business benefits TryHackMe brings, reach out to sales.
Spears11 says,
Yes, Advent.
How you doing, dude? And then the stories. This is like the narrative that like covers the whole Advent of Cyber. So again, this is very similar to last year's. You've got Elf McSkiddy, who's this dude. And he's going into the SOC.
Eurismlux says,
Ho ho ho.
He's using his badge to get access to the SOC, and then on his desk there's a shady-looking card. Security, all hands on deck. Boing, boing, boing. Oh no, you've been naughty this year, leaving your shop open like that. We've started with a puzzle. Let's see what more you can do. Your secret Santa. Zoom in. Yeah, there we go. McSkiddy, the gift shop website has been defaced. We need to find out what happened. We need to start security testing other systems immediately. It looks like it's up to us to save Christmas again. To be continued.
Jazzy says,
Someone set US up the bomb.
Or your base belong to us. The holiday season is close again. You might not feel it yet, but the way up north, Elf McSkiddy is already busy making sure that you get your presents this year. As she walked through the yard of Santa's workshop this morning, a cup of hot chocolate in her hands. I said he earlier, it's a girl.
Eurismlux says,
All your base.
Everything seemed to be going great. Gifts are getting wrapped, reindeers exercising on treadmills, Santa's sleigh is being polished. The whole place was just teeming with elf activity. When McSkiddy entered the office, she immediately
Pumpkin
noticed
Spice,
something
Lucky
was in
says,
fact out of order.
How very dare you?
A big, dark, half-frosted card was laying on her desk. Who placed it there? How did they get into the locked sock? What did they want from Best Festival Company's Chief Information Security Officer? Not having to think twice about it, McSkiddy slammed the big alarm button and yelled, Security staff, all hands on deck, we've got an incident. She did not have to wait long. Pretty quickly, the corridors of Best Festivals Company's offices saw a team of security specialists rushing to the SOC. The McReds, ethical hackers at Santa's command, who find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do, came to the workshop. Elf Exploit McRed was the first, then Elf Recon, and finally Elf Pivot skating on the icy floors. McBlues rushed from the yard where they were setting up monitoring, as they are responsible for Santa's defences. McSkiddy watched as Elf McBlue came running in. Elf Log McBlue, followed by Elf Admin and Elf Forensics.
Spears11 says,
There was an elf group researching Sandman shipping out dungeon kits. Christmas was teeming with life and weblink.
Nice. So the gear was strapped to their belts, jingling loudly. Santa's security team sounded McSkiddy, all holding their breaths. McSkiddy picked up an evil-looking card from the desk with trembling hands, opened it, and they all saw what was inside. Ho, ho, ho. Someone's been naughty this year, leaving our shop open like that. We started with a little puzzle. Let's see what more we can do, your secret Santa. But the shop wasn't open. The door was locked when I entered, and you were monitoring the walls, right? McSkiddy looked to the team for support. After a few clicks of the keyboard at the nearest computer, Admin McBlue announced, "It's the gift shop website, McSkiddy. It's been defaced. There's a puzzle. It says we'll learn who did it if we solve it." The sock room had just a few seconds of silence before the other elves started shouting. "We need to investigate, check the logs, review monitoring, audit other systems, lock down the network." Hopefully Yule logs, not actual computer logs. McSkiddy held her hand up, waiting for the elves to calm down. "We've been through something like this last year. This year we're saving Christmas again. See you in the daily tasks. We hope that you can help McSkiddy and the team find out who their mysterious adversary is, investigate the incident, and secure their systems once again. Please note that the difficulty of the challenges might vary each day, but they'll always be easily approachable by beginners in cybersecurity. Have fun in the advent of cyber." So with the Christmas story is read, you can complete. And then into day one, so this is yesterday's task. Someone is coming to town. View the site, so we can see the defaced website. John Hammond kicked this off, so he had a video, but essentially you have the reiteration of the story. So we've got best festival companies was compromised. Someone is trying to stop Christmas this year and stop Santa from delivering gifts to children who are nice this year. The best festival website has been defaced. Children worldwide cannot send in their gift requests. There's much work to be done to investigate the attack and test the other systems. The attackers have left a puzzle for the elves to solve and learn who their adversaries are. McSkiddy looked at the puzzle and recognized some of the pieces as the phases of the unified kill chain. A security framework which is used to understand attackers. She has reached out to you to assist them in recovering their website, identifying their attacker, and help save Christmas. Organizations such as the Best Festival Company must adjust and improve their cybersecurity efforts to prevent data breaches. So, security frameworks come into play to guide in setting up security programs and improve the security posture of the organization. Security frameworks are documented processes that define policies and procedures organizations should follow to establish and maintain security controls. They're blueprints for identifying and managing the risks that they may face, and in the weaknesses in place that may lead to an attack. Frameworks help the organization remove the guesswork of securing their data and infrastructure by establishing processes and structures in a strategic plan. This will also help them achieve commercial and government regulatory requirements. Let's dive in and briefly look at the commonly used frameworks. So the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, CSF for short, was developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technologies, and NIST, and it provides detailed guidance for organizations to manage and reduce cybersecurity risk. The framework focuses on 5 essential functions: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. With these functions, the framework allows organizations to prioritize their cybersecurity investments and engage in continuous improvement towards a target cybersecurity profile. ISO 27000 series. This is the international standards that the International Organization of Standardization, ISO, develops a series of frameworks for different industries and sectors. ISO 27001 and 27002 standards are commonly known for the cybersecurity and outline the requirements and procedures for creating, implementing, and managing an information security management system, an ISMS. These standards can be used to assess an institution's ability to meet set information security requirements through the application of risk management. Then we move down to the MITRE ATT&CK framework. This is used to identify adversary plans of attack, identifying adversary plans of attack can be challenging to embark on blindly. They can be understood through their behaviors, methods, tools, and strategies established for an attack, commonly known as tactics, techniques, and procedures, TTPs. The MITRE ATT&CK framework is a knowledge base of TTPs carefully curated and detailed to ensure security teams can identify attack patterns. The framework structure is similar to a periodic table, mapping techniques against the phases of an attack chain and referencing system platforms exploited. This framework highlights the detailed approach it provides when looking at an attack. It brings together environment-specific cybersecurity information to provide cyber threat intelligence insights that can help teams develop effective security programs for their organization. Dive further into the framework by checking out the dedicated MITRE room, so that has its own TriHack lab. And then the cyber kill chain. So this is a key concept of the framework, was adopted from the military, Lockheed Martin. It says it there. This terminology kill chain, which describes the structure of an attack and consists of target identification, decision and order to attack the target, and finally target destruction, developed by Lockheed Martin. The kill chain describes the stages commonly followed by a cyber attack, and the security defenders can use the framework as part of an intelligence-driven defense. There are 7 stages outlined by the cyber kill chain, enhancing visibility and understanding of adversary tactics, techniques, and procedures. So we go recon, then we move into weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and actions and objectives. And this again has its own kill chain room. There is another one which I don't know if it mentions, but Mandiant have their own kill chain, which is very similar, except recon is split into 2 phases. So you have a passive reconnaissance and an active reconnaissance. They do away with weaponization altogether, and delivery, like that doesn't happen. Let's see if I can get it, actually. It's a good Mandiant attack chain. Is that the one? It's the cyber kill chain. Where's the Mandiant one? Targeted life cycle attack. Kind of. So this is the other one I was on about. So it looks like they've changed it a bit since I last saw it, but so you get an initial compromise, establish a foothold, maintain the presence, escalate privilege, move laterally, internal reconnaissance, and this is like a continually, like you just move from one of these 4 to the other until you do something that's a success criteria. But it definitely broke that down into active and passive. Then you gain a foothold, elevate, do more reconnaissance, move laterally, keep your presence through like a C2, and then get out of there with something. So, unified kill chain, as established in our scenario, Santa's team has been left with a clue who might have attacked them and pointed out to the unified kill chain. The Elf Blue team begin their research. The unified kill chain can be described as the unification of the MITRE attack chain, the MITRE attack and the cyber kill chain frameworks. Published by Paul Pauls in 2017 and reviewed in 2022, the UKC provides a model to defend against cyber attacks from the adversary perspective. The UKC offers security teams a blueprint for analysing, comparing threat intelligence concerning the adversarial mode of working. The unified kill chain describes 18 phases of attack based on tactics, techniques, and procedures, and the individual phases can be combined to form overarching goals, such as gaining an initial foothold in the target network, navigating through the network, and then expanding access and performing actions on critical assets. Santa's security team would need to understand how these phases are put together from the attacker perspective. So cycle 1, in. The main focus of this series of phases is for the attacker to gain access to a system or network environment. Typically, cyber attacks are initiated when an external attacker by an external attacker. The critical steps they would follow are reconnaissance. They perform a research on the target using publicly available information. Weaponization, they set up all the required infrastructure to host the command and control center, which is crucial
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow. Crucial for executing attacks.
Richahi says,
Hi,
Oh,
I
thank
want
you
to
for the
offer
follow,
promotion
but
of your
you
channel,
are
viewers, followers,
a
views,
dirty follow
chat
bot.
bots. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Auto on. Incredibly flexible and convenient order management panel. Everything is in your hands.
And there you
Turn
go,
it
you've
on
been blocked.
/off/
Enjoy.
customize. Go to dojahype.com.
Poof. Right, that's done. Right, we've had one bot, so that's great. Let's ban some more if they join. Right, where was I? Did weaponization. Delivery. Payloads are malicious instruments delivered to the target through numerous means, such as email phishing and supply chain attacks. Social engineering. The attacker will trick their target into performing an untrusted and unsafe action against the payload they just delivered, often making their message appear to come from a trusted in-house source. Exploitation. If the attacker finds an interesting vulnerability or an existing vulnerability, a software or hardware weakness in the network assets, they may use this to trigger the payload. Persistence. The attacker will leave behind a fallback presence on the network or an asset to make sure that they have a point of access to their target. Defense evasion. The attacker must remain anonymous throughout their exploits by disabling and avoiding any security defense mechanisms enabled, including the deletion of the evidence of their presence. Remember that the infrastructure that the attacker prepared, a communication channel between the compromised system and the attacker's infrastructure, is established across the internet. That's the command and control. So this phase may be considered a loop, as the attacker may be forced to change their tactics or modify techniques if one or more fails and provide an entrance into the network. So once they're in, they progress into cycle 2. So under this phase, the attacker will be interested in gaining even more access and privilege within the network. The attacker may repeat this phase until a desired level of access is obtained. So we look at the first points of pivoting. Remember that the attacker may be used for persistence. This system will become the attack launchpad for other systems in the network. So you pivot through the one box into another box and another box and keep going until you get what you want. Discovery. So the attacker will seek to gather as much information about a compromised system, such as the available users, data, just enumeration. Alternately, they may remotely discover vulnerabilities and assets within the network. This opens the way for the next phase. Privilege escalation. So if you've restricted access, preventing them from executing their mission, therefore they will seek higher privileges on the compromised system by exploiting identified vulnerabilities or misconfigurations. Execution. So with their elevated privileges, they will seek to run malicious code. They can either download and execute to extract sensitive information or cause further havoc on the system. Credential access. So part of the extracted sensitive information might include login credentials stored on the hard disks or within memory. This provides the attacker with even more firepower for their attacks, because again they can use some of that to do more pivoting, more privilege escalation, and more lateral movement. Using the extracted credentials, the attacker may move around different systems or data storages within the network, for example, within a single department. A key element that one might think is missing is access. This is not formally covered as the phase of the UKC, as it overlaps with other phases across the different levels, leading to the adversary achieving their goals. So the final cycle, the out phase, the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, the CIA triad, of assets or services are compromised during this phase. Either money, fame, or sabotage will drive attackers to undertake their reasons for executing their attacks, cause as much damage as possible, and then disappear without being detected. You have a collection, so after finding a jackpot of data and information, the attacker will seek to aggregate all that they need. By doing so, the asset's confidentiality would be compromised entirely, especially when dealing with trade secrets, financial or personally identifiable information, or PII. that should be secured. Exfiltration, so the attacker must get the loot out of the network. Various techniques can be used to ensure that they have achieved their objectives without triggering suspicion. Impact, when compromising the availability of or integrity of an asset or information, the attacker will use all the acquired privileges to manipulate, interrupt, and sabotage. Imagine the reputation, financial, and social damage an organization would have to recover from. Objectives. The attacker may have other goals to achieve that may affect the social or technical landscape that their targets operate in. Defining and understanding these objectives tend to help security teams familiarize themselves with adversarial attack tools and conduct risk assessments to defend their assets. Then saving the best festival company. So having gone through the UKC with Santa's recon team, it's evident that better defensive strategies must be implemented to raise resilience against attacks. Your task is to help the elves solve a puzzle left for them to identify who is trying to stop Christmas. Click the View site, which we've already done. This is what this side panel is. At the top of the task to launch the static site in split view. You may have to open the static site on a new window and zoom in for a clearer view of the puzzle pieces. So, if we... Hello Santa, for years you have delivered happiness and joy to millions around the world. During the festivities, however, you have remained untested, and the time has finally arrived to turn the best festival company into grumpy and miserable. I have taken over your website and warehouse, and it is time to turn Christmas into chaos. Who wants to play a game? You want to play a game and know who is behind all the misery? Start. So here we go. So we've got some puzzle pieces. Who is the adversary that attacked Santa's network this year? So let's progress. So what should we do? We got phase 1 reconnaissance. Then we go weaponization, delivery, social engineering, exploitation, assistance, defense, and command and control. There we go. Next, so now we have pivoting. Then we go, what we're doing next, discovery, privilege escalation, execution, credential access, and lateral movement. And then, I didn't even see those clues. Access, collection, exfiltration, impact, and objective. There we go. So we've got the flag, we've got the culprit is the bandit Yeti, so there's our answer. What was the flag? It's this one. It's a Yeti Christmas in Leap. Looking to learn more, then check out the rooms on the Unified Kill Chain, Cyber Kill Chain, MITRE, and the Cyber Defense Framework module. So again, those are the separate rooms that go deeper into the phrases of text that are on there, so we can